And here we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Margaret Pinard. I'm a historical fiction and fantasy writer. I've got a new box set out if you're up for fall reading in the historical fiction realm. But what we're here to talk about today is vertical format videos. So pull up a chair. We're going to be going over some questions. I have four. Basically, why would you want to try to learn something else? How do you actually make them? Which platforms work the best? And I think the other thing on the thumbnail is, well, let's see. I can't see anymore. It's fine. We're going to be answering questions about vertical format videos, which means TikToks, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. So I was talking about this a few weeks ago on a stream and realized a lot of people are like confused about it or frustrated with it and have thrown up their hands. And yet, it's this possible, really big motor for getting your work and content in front of new audiences. So I don't want to just leave it there. So that's what I am here to help you with as a beginner, helping beginners, to show you how I've done what I've done, why, and to give you examples. And then we could just walk through questions. So, oh, I put banners up. I'm so silly. Why, how, content, sequencing, fiddly bits. Those are the topics we'll be covering today, according to my pre-made banners. All right, so if you have questions that come up, do pop them in the chat and put a Q at the beginning, and I will try to get through all of them. At the end, we've got Shannon. Hello, hello. Anita, hello, was first. Yep. Felicia, dreamingtruth.author. Welcome, everybody. And Richard says, I'm old enough to remember when videos were meant to be horizontal. This is horizontal. So maybe it's full circle, or maybe it just didn't land. Okay, let's get on track here. So I am an author and I'm trying to get my book in front of eyeballs. I'm also a Booktube creator. So I have reviews and wrap ups and readathon resumes that I want to reach more people, to find people who have similar taste so we can recommend books to each other. So in both those cases, I want to grow my audience. And I'm in a community, several groups of people who are trying to grow their audience on YouTube, especially. YouTube is my main home on the social media platforms. And so we've discussed how the algorithm works for us, and like the highest payoff thing to do is to use those vertical format videos. So that's why this is so important to not give up on. I'm sorry. So that's like the main why, is that the algorithm will reward you for diving into this pool because it's the newest thing, and they're competing with TikTok and they're competing with Instagram Reels, which is Meta. And so that's where you will get put in front of more eyeballs for audience. And then you have a greater chance of finding people who go, oh, I like that. I'll click on it, and then find out what you're about. The other whys are pretty cool, that I appreciate. Number one, you can use memes. There are downsides to all of this, of course. And I'm not even going into the downsides to the apps themselves, because if you know me already, you know I have problems with big data and monopolies and such. So we're just leaving that, we're tabling it, and we're saying it's fun. It's fun to make these vertical format videos because you can use memes. And that is just a short way of saying something that goes viral, something that becomes very popular, and it's a trend that everyone puts their take on and shares with their friends. And so it just grows and grows and grows. If you catch those waves of things as they're going viral, you can use those audio tracks as part of your video and jump on it that way, or a visual combination like Pablo. Nope, I'm gonna forget his name right now. The guy who was eating the crunchy crackers in one of the memes. Anyway, so those are two things that are external and sort of not controllable by any one person, but you can sort of harness the power of that to like ride the wave and get in front of, once again, more eyeballs, because that's what we're going for with growing our audience. So that's the why. And then the next, I didn't do this right. That's the why. The next one is the how. So, how do you make these vertical format videos? And the answer is there's two answers. On your phone, that's the easiest, like most direct way, or in an editing program. So I have done this both ways, and I find the phone, so that it's originally in the right format, to be a lot easier than taking a horizontal format video, popping it in my editing program, which for me is iMovie, and manipulating it. Because what that involves is, I'll tell you a fun story. For my fireside chats in August, I thought I'll do highlight reels and put them in the shorts so that they get more eyeballs and then they'll bring people back to the long form conversation. But I am set up talking to one other person, which means we're right next to each other in the StreamYard layout. So, what I had to do was import that video into iMovie and then clip whatever clip I wanted where someone was talking and I had a funny reaction, or I was talking and they had a funny reaction, or just a really good clip. And then have that clip, duplicate it, and then crop each little clip so that I was like this face and then this face and then this face. So there's a lot of copy pasting, a lot of cropping, a lot of editing. And that is not my favorite thing. So I would suggest the easy way is to start with the phone videos. Of course, if you've got really great content in the YouTube horizontal format, then you do want to repurpose that. So that's the why and the how. So let me check in with you guys. Uh, um, Ooh, okay. JC is here. Hello, JC. I missed some chat here. JC is hosting poetry open mic with, is it with Morgan or is it with Laura? I can't remember. I think you have a co-host, but Shannon is looking forward to it. Shared the link in her stream this morning. Yes, awesome. Yes, a little nervous for today's, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We love this. Yes, it will be. Yeah, it's not Pablo Picasso. Esther would know who I'm talking about, so I'll just leave it at that. With Morgan. Thank you. All right. So, poetry shout out for tonight. The next piece is how you make the content, and then we'll jump into sequencing. So, do I have this? Yes, content is next. So I told you how I do it in the editing program, which is kind of a rigmarole, right? And not recommended. How I do it on the phone is either holding the phone and just taking pictures of the nature I'm walking in, which is what I've used in vlogs, for example, or putting it up on a tripod and having it record me when I'm giving tips about something, or recording me typing. That's also a vlog footage thing people do. Um, or doing a tag. I've done a tag for TikTok and I put that on the tripod as well. So it's basically a similar setup to when you're doing your YouTube videos. You just use your phone. But there's the cool things, right? So there's the audio you get to choose. You can have background music and you're not limited to copyright free music. That's the cool thing. So, for whatever reason, the copyright gods of law courts have said that if it's in a short, we don't care. We don't have to get permission. So you can use all the fun, popular music that people are throwing around there. And if it's less than a minute and it fits in a short a TikTok reel or a TikTok or a reel, then they don't care. So again, you're harnessing the power of something that's much more popular than you to ride the coattails and get your work out there. Some of the fun content things. Is this one I'm going to talk about it? Yes. Okay. So just like editing regular videos for YouTube, You have text you can add with different fonts, different types. So if you're familiar with Canva, you know that they have um, sort of like bold or italics or background color or shadow, stuff like that. You got stickers, and there's an endless variety of stickers, and I'm not sure how people make them, but there are some branded stickers like people have done for advertising, which is brilliant. I want to know how you can pay to get those because they would be, I think, a really smart move. I don't know how to do that yet. It's on my list. So stickers are great. Captions. So if you're captioning your vertical format videos, not only are you making it more accessible, you're also like giving people who are paying attention to many things at once in your video something to read because that can sometimes be easier to digest when your eyes are seeing a lot of things. Um, and again, what I'm tabling here is the content because as an author, I will be talking about books I'm reading and books I'm writing, like for example, NaNoWriMo content. But if you're an artist of a different stripe, then you could choose anything else and have the same type of elements in your content. So you'd start with a video that you have, you would add um, audio, whether that's a song or a sound effect or a voiceover, and then add stickers, add text, add interactive elements. All those things can go into your video. And in TikTok, you've got effects. In Instagram, you've got filters. Um, YouTube doesn't have much of that. So that's why the other platforms kind of rule in that aspect, in that respect. Um, so, yeah, there's a lot of fun things to play with. So, again, if you're experimenting with this and not stressing about having everything come out perfect on the first try, which is kind of what you have to be in this business, I would say like experiment with those things. You'll have some that go out that have, I don't know, a circle in the middle of your face because you couldn't figure out how to get it off. Yes. So this is why this is called the beginner's guide, because I'm telling you all the ways I failed so that you don't repeat the mistakes, but you also see how easy it can be to sort of find your lane and then play with it until you get more comfortable with the frustrations, because every platform has its frustrations. It's true. Okay. So the next part after the content, because that's pretty straightforward, is sequencing. And this is sort of like the magic bullet, right? Because if you're going to do, um, for example, a YouTube video, which is horizontal, you can also stream it to Twitter. Twitter has that same aspect ratio, and people can watch it there just fine. You can do the same thing to Facebook. You can watch it there. It's like a big square on Facebook. They can watch it there just fine. But like I said, what you're trying for the algorithm to catch, like to catch the algorithm's eye, let's say, is to get in those shorts on YouTube, reels on Instagram, and TikTok. So, in order to do that on YouTube, you have to be under a minute. On Instagram, actually, I'm not going to bother with Instagram and TikTok because if you're going to do it once and use it all the different platforms, you want to do the least common denominator maximum, which is a minute. So, does that make sense? Like, if you're going to have one video on all three platforms, you got to go to the lowest number allowed. So that's a minute. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me check in before I go on. Um, so Anita is telling us about Adobe. Okay. If you have any Adobe products, you can do vertical format stuff in Adobe Express now, similar to Canva. Excellent. So here is one sort of choice early on in the process is to make your vertical format videos in an editing program. I have done a few in Canva, but I have done the majority of mine in the app themselves. So like on TikTok, on Instagram, and that's it. I haven't done any originally on YouTube. So, and you'll find out why. Um, so yeah, but this is good advice. Thank you. Shannon says, nice, didn't know that. RC is here. Yeah, tell us what hurts so we can avoid it. Exactly. And Felicia's saying hello. Awesome. Okay, so sequencing. Hopefully that makes sense so far. So basically, what I did here, and I've got a little playlist. I've got like, if it looks like DNA code, yeah, it sort of is. Basically, the three platforms I'm talking about, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If you start on one of them, how easy is it to translate to another? And so I've tried not all the permutations because that's a lot, but most of them. So let's start number one, which is going to be TikTok to YouTube. And I've got an example. This is the first one I ever did. Okay. So let me, and because this is a longer format video and it does have copyright restrictions, um, I don't know. I'm just going to play the sound. This is my first TikTok to YouTube um, effort. So it's just 17 seconds. So let Okay. So what you see in there is that I had video, I had stills that were old, that were photographs of actual photographs, and music that wasn't mine, and stickers, and text. Pretty cool, right? That you can combine all those in app. And so what I did was I did all that editing and like little bits and pieces on TikTok, published it on TikTok, saved it to my phone, put it on YouTube through my phone, and then uploaded it as a short. And it did really well because it was the first time I'd done it. So everyone was like, "What?" And when you're new, of course, they give you a lot more of a boost. So that was the first one, from TikTok to YouTube. Yeah, JC says, I remember that one. That was a trend. So like I said, it's probably got popular because um, everyone was doing it and I was like, a month later than everyone else. But that's fine. That's fine. It's still on the long tail of the TikTok algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, what have you. Um, so that's my first try. The next option is the other way around, going from YouTube to TikTok. And here's the thing, YouTube doesn't allow you to do a lot of these things. It gives you stickers, it gives you text, it doesn't give you sound, as far as I know. And it's much harder to manipulate on your phone screen, and it doesn't let you do it on the desktop. So I haven't done that because I was just flummoxed the first time I tried. So number 2, YouTube to TikTok is an X for me. Number 3, number 3 is trying Instagram Reels first and then putting it on TikTok. Okay, and so this is a bit of a journey. This was a learning experience, and this is where I failed. So I did it on Instagram. Again, they don't have copyright rules for the Reels, but when I saved it, unlike TikTok, Instagram rips the copyrighted audio off so that you don't even have a copy of it for yourself with the copyrighted music. That was saying copy a lot, sorry. So it erased the audio. So when I saved the Instagram reel to my phone and then I went to TikTok, it said there's no audio. So what I had recorded through Instagram was also erased, not just the copyright music. So here's what I ended up getting on TikTok for this announcement of the fireside chats, which I put up on July 28th. And you'll see why I think it's funny. Let's turn up the volume a little bit. Hey, everybody. This is Margaret. I'm here because the Instagram Reel downloaded without audio. So here's the message that I wanted to convey. Big announcement today. I am launching a new show. It's going to be on my YouTube channel at Margaret Pennard. It's called Fireside Chats, hence the cute little campfire. It's going to be an hour show from Monday to Friday. with a new creative guest every day, where we do some exercises to fill the creative well as just introduce them to my audience. And I'm doing this because number one, I have an editing goal that I am way behind on. And number two, I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, so close, 150 away. And I really want to push to make that happen. So I hope I have you to help me. My first guests are from the Stygian Society, the new debut anthology with the press. Very excited to have them on. We'll be doing flash fiction. So come join us Tuesday, August 1st, 5 p.m. Pacific. Okay, and what you see here in my learning environment is that I had a filter that's like the lights on the ceiling that you can see in Instagram. So that came through. The visual stuff came through fine. The sticker stuff came through fine. But the audio was erased. So I had to record a new one for TikTok. And what was I just gonna say? So voiceover. Yeah. So I just did a voiceover so that I didn't have to re-record. And let's see. JD, hello. I still fail at them. I wing it. But we love your reels, JD. So I think it's successful. And he says, this is why I use external programs for shorts and then upload to all three. So that's what I was going to say. The other fail with this one is that it was exactly a minute. And so by the time I processed through Instagram and TikTok and then put it on here, it went to 1:05. So then it no longer qualifies to be listed in the shorts category. And I miss all the benefits of being a short, even though it's vertical format and all that stuff recorded on my phone. So you have to be careful. I think like a 2 to 3 second gap is probably safe enough to say when it uploads to YouTube, it'll add that on, but it'll still qualify as a short. But 4 seconds if you want to be extra careful. So 56 as a maximum. And the only thing I would say to Anita's strategy is that I don't have Adobe products, but I do have Canva. And I did try some in Canva, and I sort of used marketing by Shelby Lee's aesthetic ideas for like regular promotional post of my historical fiction and put them on YouTube, and they did nothing. So I think without the sort of pop or the pop music or the meme, they don't catch the tails of anything. And so I didn't find it worth it. I did all that work and then it didn't have any impact. And I'll show you the results comparing on a different video at the end of this playlist. And I skipped Shannon's. I do the same when I do them. So what do you use, Shannon? You have a different video editor, I think. Anita says, I mostly use Microsoft's Clipchamp for personal stuff. And maybe Shannon will tell us what she uses as an external editor. Because in my process, I've really found it faster and more pickup, more engagement when I'm doing it in app with whatever is popular in app. Because I can't get those sounds in Canva, or I don't know if you can do that in Clipchamp or hit Film Express. And now I can't remember what sounds I remember seeing in Shannon's writing prompts. I think they may have been more like atmospheric rather than like pop music. And so since I'm going for that pop music combination, that wouldn't work. So, but if you have a combination that would work with, and it's more cottage core and nice and gentle, like there's plenty of non-copyright stuff that would work. And then you could do an external editor and send to all three. So yeah. Okay, so that was Instagram Reel to TikTok. And here's the Instagram Reel, the same one to YouTube. There was a different problem, or rather the same problem, but I solved it a different way. So what happened here is when Instagram downloaded, again, the audio was ripped. So what did I do? Okay, if you're a child of the 80s, you might enjoy this. Let's just play this. till the end. That's the TikTok version. Yeah, can you tell what I did?
Hey everybody, Margaret here. I am here to announce big announcement. Two things, the what and the why. The why, August Fireside Chats. I've got a new show. It's every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m.
It's a
Pacific
recording of a
time. And I'm
recording.
inviting a creative
So
guest to come on and talk books and creative life with me. And this is because sprints just really don't do it for me anymore.
all right. So you can hear the audio in the background. So I was frustrated with not having the audio that I wanted, which is like the little song from Practical Magic. And so I just took a recording of the recording on my phone. So that's how janky, whichever. I was trying to preserve the elements that I had originally had. So, with the recording of the recording, I got the original music and you can see it's at 56. So because it didn't have that TikTok branding at the end, I think it did fit under the shorts because that's what YouTube needed. So it was just like balancing all the different needs of the individual platforms can quickly get frustrating. So this is what I'm trying to like warn you of. If you already have let me say, if you already have a favorite platform like YouTube, but making YouTube shorts doesn't engage your people, I would suggest trying either Instagram Reels or TikTok and seeing which one you like better. Because in-app videos or filters or effects or engagement things like polls and such, I think do better. And then just repost. So that's what I'm trying to capture is the efficiency of reposting something you've already worked on from one platform to another. I will say when I've tried to track stats, views, engagement for these on the different platforms, there is no correlation between YouTube and TikTok. And Instagram, I don't do well on. So I'm just looking basically at YouTube and TikTok for me, but I have experimented with Instagram. But I'm more regular on those two. And so, again, I'll show you some of the stats and views after the last video here when I get through the sequencing talk. Okay. And then the last, nope, that was 4. I have 5, 6. Okay, we're almost there. So not good at tracking stats and views anywhere but YouTube. Ooh, no, you can see stats and views on TikTok. But when I compare them, it's never the same videos that do well or always the opposite. It's just like sometimes they're low, sometimes they're high. Like I can't make heads or tails of it. So that's me. Other people analyzing the data might be able to. Uh, oh, okay. So Anita says Clipchamp has music, not really pop music, but catchy. Okay. So there you go. And Shannon says, my short vids for my book were with that pop music. Okay, so the word prompts I think were not, but the book was. Interesting. I wonder if you have different numbers for those too. JC says, child of the 80s. Yes, me too. Me too. Shannon says, I really don't have it in me to try. That's fine. Just not good at keeping track of the other stats. Yes, it's an analysis problem. It's a user analysis problem. It's not a platform giving analytics problem. Yeah. Anita says, I was tracking data yesterday for Crystal Lake and the platforms performed way different for the same videos. Yes. And see, this is kind of why it's like FOMO for promotion, right? So if you're doing a video and you think this is a good video, it shares some good information or it's got a really funny twist to it, I'll see how it performs on the different platforms. One could do really well on TikTok and not on Instagram, and then vice versa with another video. So it's just, I don't want to leave it on the floor. That's like my FOMO of like, if I have a video that does disappointingly on YouTube, maybe it'll blow up on TikTok. So, like, why not just throw it up there? And again, like Shannon says, sometimes you just don't have the bandwidth because you're doing so many other things. But, um, but yeah, it's useful to at least try it. No, just like have data, I guess. Have the experience. My book videos did better on Instagram, but not elsewhere. I think that may be because of your art and like the magic and the fantasy. I think that is very on the vibes with Instagram crowds. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys get each other, and I'll just keep going with what I planned. You guys are fun. Okay, so I was at 4, and then we're gonna go 5 and 6. So the last one is the last 2 categories are starting in TikTok and going to Instagram. And I have an example for this because I've sort of defaulted to designing and making these in TikTok. Um, well, actually, I'm doing the visual part in iMovie and then exporting that to the phone and then doing all the text and stuff in TikTok and then exporting it back to the other platforms. So, I don't know. Is that taking too much time? I told Eloise Barr, another author, how long um my reels, my shorts were taking, and every once in a while, when it's a vlog, especially, I guess that's why, because it's a vlog, it takes so super long. But anyway, I moved to TikTok. This is TikTok to Instagram, and my example is, my latest one. So I've taken you from
They're not motivating
Teenage
me. I
Dirtbag
want to
to
get an
my
editing
latest
job
one,
done
which
on my book, and
is
I want to in the Stygian universe and mixing them with
ooh, and
others.
here's a
So don't miss
card
out.
on a
See
YouTube
you there
short.
on
So
Tuesday.
that's something you can do too. So started in TikTok, so it's got TikTok branding, and these are my nature shots with a filter and like tips and stickers and the transitions. That's from iMovie. Um, yeah, I like these. Tagging didn't really help here because it was from a different platform. It's fine. So that one I had the original audio in, but I took the rest of it out. I just wanted that little train compressed air noise to be in there. Okay, and here is something that I think is an important thing to call out. So I did this in April when I did a bunch of shorts, and I updated my little call to action at the end because I'm so close to 1,000. So I put this in here so that when I put it on other platforms, people will know, oh, she's a YouTuber. That's where her main content is. I'll go back there and support if I like the content. So this is TikTok to Instagram. This is what the Instagram reel looked like. I just loaded it onto YouTube so that I could have this in a playlist. And this didn't do great on YouTube or Instagram because I think it's like quiet and tips and there's no voice and there's no face. So good to know. But again, I'll show you the results in a second. The last category is starting on YouTube, going to Instagram. And like I said, I haven't found my kumbaya moment with the YouTube Shorts feature. So I don't start on YouTube ever with the in YouTube Short app and then put it somewhere else. So there we go. Okay, so we finished the sequencing discussion. Oh my goodness. Yes. Again, Shannon's got some questions I see. Thank you. And I'm going to now bring up let's see, present. Oh, I didn't know whether to do this as an overlay and have you guys see it or whether it would be too small and I should point to stuff and make it a virtual background. Let's try it as an overlay first because that's easier for me. um, results. So this secondary platform, TikTok, where I've put a bunch of stuff, what you see on the left side of the screen, the like further away is like my whole run up, like the last videos I've done there, right? And I blew it up a little on the right so that you could see the numbers. If you can't see the numbers, let me know and I'll point to them as a virtual background instead of an overlay. But if you look at the grid on the right, the first top left is the draft, so that doesn't have a number. The second one, the week 4 on TikTok, it went up to 700. So there's like I don't know what to call them. 200 is like bare minimum. They're just showing it to the people who they know, like you, and like it didn't go anywhere, so they don't bother showing it to anyone else. It feels like 700 is the next sort of layer that they'll put it out to if it gets a little bit of traction. And so that went to the next layer. So you'll see the top middle 700, top right, the last week's vlog was just 200, and then the vlog before that 200, vlog before that 200. Or sorry, that was my book announcement was 200. And then the first vlog, the preparation on the middle right row, that's 700. So that's sort of where I've like fallen into in TikTok. I haven't had anything go viral. But that's the results on TikTok. And now you've seen some of the same videos, so we can compare the stats. We look at YouTube. So here's the stats for the last one. I tried to blow up so anyone could see it. This is the week 4 vlog, and if you can see the you can't see my cursor. The gray, the light gray area there is typical performance, and the blue line is way below it. So 37 views, 53 less than usual. That's like super bad. So I don't know what it was. Like I said, I think it's because there's no face and there's no voice, and it was just like calm and gentle when people were wanting like engaging pop music, whatever, funny stuff. But that did not do well. So live and learn. And then the final one, Instagram. Again, you'll find that same week 4 vlog with a different cover image. So here I've got the top left is 54 views, which is pretty terrible. If you look back, the vlogs did 158. And I haven't put all of them up on Instagram, so that's the only one we have to compare. But before that, I had 190, 190. The fall reading one was 497. The fireside chats one was 345. Fireside chats again 268 and 122. So I think the lesson here is like the face and the goofy expressions is what's appealing to make people like actually listen for a second. And my kind of cool view of the steep driveway with some fun stickers and text was not what people were looking for. So, but again, that's one video that is in 3 different places and it did the best on TikTok. So that's why I kind of keep going back there to get the trends and the music and the filters or whatever that people are, I think, always creating new. And I think that's why it's much more engaging for vertical format videos these days. Okay, so let me catch up in the chat now that we're back here. Shannon says, question, what did you do to get the cartoon effect? I'll find one of your vids to show what I mean. Second to last vid, murky middle. Oh, do you mean me when I sort of got like a comic book look? If so, that is a visual filter in iMovie. I don't think I've seen it on TikTok. It probably exists and I haven't found it. And it probably exists on Instagram. So that if you are in one of those apps and you're recording yourself, before you record, you hit filter, you can swipe through a whole lot of possibilities or search cartoon, comic, and you would probably find one that turns your face into like a comic book character, like Andy. But you do have to do that before the recording in app. For iMovie, when I had video and I imported it into the editing program, it was something I could add after, but that doesn't work for the platforms that I'm using. And JC says, I liked it. You like the vlog. Thank you. Rachel says, I didn't even get notified. I'll have to catch what I missed on the replay. No worries. Nice to have you here, Rachel. Yes, hope everyone is having an awesome day. Shannon says, I don't think my vids get anywhere close to these higher numbers on TikTok or Instagram, but it's been a minute since I looked. In my experience, they don't ever expand after. So unless you have keywords that for some reason get picked up or tags or whatever, um, once they hit 200 and stop for a day, that's like where they will be forever. Or once they hit 700, like there's nothing more. Um, I think I've heard of people having an old video go viral because like the holiday comes around again, or you can repost some of that shit again now, and a lot of TikTokers are doing that. They're just reposting stuff. And they're doing it because the algorithm isn't rewarding them for what they used to do. So they're just like, fuck it. So, hey, I applaud that sort of spirit, So Shannon says, my highest view on TikTok is 124. So that could be because you don't spend time scrolling TikTok liking other people's. It could be keywords, although I don't do great on keywords, research and deployment, um, or the audio. I don't know. Rachel says the only video I had that got over 10,000 views. Okay, let me stop you there. I think my biggest is like 500, Rachel. Was on birds trying to feed my foster chickies. So I don't know. Yeah. That's the thing. Like when you go viral, it's totally out of your control. It's whatever one person, and then 10 people, and then 100 people, like exponentially. Yeah. iMovie don't have that. One of my Instagram book reels has 1,618 views. So whatever that one is. I mean, it's a matter of looking into the analytics and stats and saying, oh, this one I did this, or this one I had this cover. The cover image is super important for these shorts. But then also taking it with a grain of salt, because it could have just been the timing. This is why I'm never like firmly in any camp for data analysis. That's not my thing. That one grew. Okay, so maybe Instagram doesn't have the same rules in terms of like having a hard stop. That's good to know. Shannon says, I have a couple on IG, a little over 400. So my IG ones do well. Nice. And my book vids on YouTube are maybe 1 or 200. So it seems like they're doing better on Instagram for cursive scales and feathers. That's good. That's good to know. So yeah, so if you're thinking about being efficient and getting the most bang for your buck, and you design these videos outside an external Hit Film Express, I think that was the name, then you are, let's see. What I would suggest, and I have one more category, the Fiddly Bits. We're going to get to the Fiddly Bits in a second. I would suggest putting it on Instagram first because you're getting the most traction, but then maybe like for more info, see this longer form. I know we don't do Instagram links, but you can turn the reel into a story and then put a link in the story, because the differences between them, Instagram stories only go to your audience that already knows you and loves you, but you can put in links. And reels, you can't put in links, but it goes to more people. So you really have to like feed one to the other, right? Actually, it just goes one way, really. The new people to the audience and the links. I don't spend any time scrolling on TikTok beyond the initial research. Responsible, Shannon. So responsible. My writing prompt vids get thousands of views. Yes, on YouTube, right? Do you have those on Instagram as well, or is it just YouTube? I thought it was YouTube. Some are fewer, but those do well. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's something that I had not thought of. I match up and add music to vids on each site. So you're using so it's kind of what I do. So you're using the external program for the visuals, text, video, stills, effects, what have you. And then you just export export to both platforms, probably sequentially because there's no fun app that'll do it for us. And then you add in music that matches, but is maybe matching the vibes of the different programs, platforms. That's actually really smart. I hadn't thought of that. Good idea with a real end story. See, there we go. We're trading tips. Now I have to figure that out. I don't put the prompts anywhere else after initially testing the waters and not getting views. So they are just on YouTube. I mean, they're like I said, the initial purpose of making the shorts is to increase the audience because those get pushed out to more people. So what you're doing is trying to draw people into your channel so that they subscribe and they're interested in writing prompts. That means they're going to be interested in like the author talk. So yeah, if you're not specifically trying to grow on Instagram or TikTok, then there's no reason to go to those platforms. And I think it is very smart to just focus on one at a time in terms of growth because your ultimate goal is really book sales and, like loyal followers and a good book community. So, yeah. And I add music to my Headfilm Express to hit the beats, but take out the music to export. Ah, so clever. So clever. So if you don't know what that means, basically Shannon is doing the work of CapCut on TikTok, which will automatically take your pictures and video and line them up to like a bass beat or a drop in the music or a break or whatever. I'm not a music person. I don't know the terms. But they do that for you in several like pre-done templates. And I haven't used CapCut, but I've used TikTok's own templates that do that. And they make it look real fancy and whatnot, but they can't do that with video as much. They do it with photo stills. JC says, I don't do any of these things, but I just admire that you are a person that tries new things and isn't afraid to fail before succeeding, of course. I can't get with the shorts at all. But do you watch them, JC? That's what I'm curious about. I scrolled TikTok for a long time before I put up anything. It was probably like a year and a half at least. Shannon says, yeah, prompts just on YouTube with a couple of the first ones on IG. That makes sense to me, right? Rachel, do they? I don't know how to make the shorts. Tech inept. That's what you need to rewind to find out. And Leslie is here. Welcome, welcome. Okay. All right. So the last piece here is the Fiddly Bits. So these are all, I'm going to finally do the YouTube originals. Let's see. So let me go back to the playlist and line it up here. Okay. So, not that one. Oh boy. Open the wrong video. Give me a second. Share this tab instead. Boop. Okay. So this is something I designed in Canva when I thought, perfect, I'll do videos in Canva. I was following Shelby Lee's sort of templates and advice for promotion when you're not launching. So I thought I'll do a few of these and see if they get any traction, and 0. So I abandoned this after I think making like 3 or 4, which may be not enough for a test case, but I was just doing sort of like gentle music, atmospheric videos that I found in Canva. This is the second one. I was using book quotes to like use review quotes for the books. And then, yeah, just posting it as a little short. And they did not get any engagement. So that's why I was like, no, we're not doing direct to YouTube and then the other platforms. So, oh, Fiddly Bits. So these are just sort of like random things that I've accumulated. The placement. So when you are making videos and you're putting the text up, one of the most annoying things to me is when it's hidden by the menu on the right-hand side for TikTok, or your really long caption and handle on YouTube at the bottom. So I would say watch your YouTube shorts if you're making those, watch your TikToks if you're making those, and like whichever platform you choose, sort of put that in your mind as like it's an additional restraint that you have to put your text this small. If you want to be very strict about it, you can figure out what the guideposts should be to put it in. But I think normally you would just like go in a tenth of the screen on each side or something like that. And then on the bottom, it's like 20% of the screen. But it is really disappointing to do the video and then realize that you can't read half of your tips on the screen. So that's something to watch out for. Once you figure out which platform you like, get used to those parameters, and then you won't have to constantly switch like I did. Again, I'm failing, so you don't have to. um, it's when I talked about the content, some of these things have fiddly bits. You can use photo stills, you can use videos, you can use music, you can use your voice, you can use audio that is someone else's voice that's like scenes from a movie or a TV show or a news clip. You could use any audio. It's really pretty fantastic, the creative breadth there. You can use filters, both audio and visual. So I can do this in iMovie. I can also do this on the platforms. It just depends on you choosing before or after filming. And what I mean by audio filters is if you've done videos for YouTube, you can make it really low or really high, or like speed up the voice so it sounds like a chipmunk. That's the audio filter, or like give echo. The visual filter are all those fun ones that I did for my fireside chats. So that would be like having fairy wings or having blue eyes or having kitten ears, or, when you talk, having it do something weird with your face. And those can be fun sometimes and just add to the personality of your channel, I'll say. So I would encourage people to experiment with those. It might not go viral like the guy who had to talk to the judge and couldn't get the cat filter off of his Zoom, but it might be something for your channel and make people laugh and be well disposed towards you. So I'd recommend it. Text, like I said, stickers. I still want to find out how to make my own stickers, captions, call to action. So like I said, I made a call to action end screen in Canva, and I import that to iMovie. So when I do my visuals for the vlog, I have video, 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 photo still. And the photo still will be my call to action that like zooms in slowly, right? To give people a little bit of time to read and say, oh, she's a YouTuber. Maybe I'll go over there. And I would say that's really helpful if you're trying to keep one platform as your main hub. So whenever I do stuff on TikTok, I'm not a TikToker. So I'm trying to like bring people back who are on both of those platforms. It's worked at a small, what's the word? Pace, degree, something like that. Call to action, links, and tagging. I don't know the etiquette on this yet. This is still on my to discover list. You can't put links in Instagram Reels or posts. You can't put links in TikToks at all. You can put them in the captions or say link in bio. You can put them in YouTube Shorts if they are to your channel. So this is something that I was just talking about on the channel with someone else on their live stream. And it was that you can add cards and related videos, that's what it's called, to a YouTube short so that it pops up at the end, just like your end screens on your normal YouTube videos. So what that means is if you have a pop in, these are tips for NaNoWriMo, your weekly tip, you can have a visit my AuthorTube playlist for more. And then you can just pop them into that so that they can find more of that same type of content. So that's useful. Tagging. So my last vlog on TikTok that was at the 700 level, I tagged a bunch of people who I know are also doing NaNoWriMo, who are authors, and I thought that's fine because they'll see it and they can like it, and that will help get it out a bit more. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I haven't been tagged in things. I don't think I would mind being tagged in things because I have such a small circle. I hope the people I tagged didn't mind being tagged on TikTok, um, because again, like it's such a huge pool and there's so many little silos that just getting it out to another small audience would be helpful. So if you know better and you think I should stop doing that, put it down in the comments and let me see the error of my ways. But for now, I figure if I know people who are also engaging on that topic, it makes sense for me to like just tag them. I don't do this in Instagram usually because I think people get more notifications in Instagram and it would be more of an annoyance. But maybe it's the same in TikTok and I don't know. If you think it's different in Instagram, let me know below. Descriptions, captions, etc. So fiddly content for descriptions. When you upload to YouTube Shorts, the description is like your title space. So I never put too much in there. It calls it a caption. It looks like the title, and you can't enter a description until after. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I've never seen it on my phone when I do it. I have to do it afterwards and add the description that is much longer. On TikTok, you have more space for your description and you can tag people in that and you can put keywords and hashtags in that. And that is an area I haven't really researched too much. In Instagram Reels, it's pretty short. It's like, it's not like a post, it's like their version of TikTok. So it's fine. But you don't get the benefit of Instagram hashtags, which I think are a pretty useful tool. Okay, taggings, description, captions, etc. So Fiddly Bits. Okay, next bit of Fiddly is promoting and interacting. So vertical format videos is this whole new universe where you can interact differently. And this is TikTok because I don't think you can do this on Instagram. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not my home platform. So on TikTok, I have experimented with stitching and duetting. Reposting doesn't seem to do much at all. It's kind of like sharing to your feed in Facebook. No one ever sees it. And favoriting is just personal, bookmarking is just personal. So I think that helps the original video, but like doesn't do much. So stitching versus duetting. Stitching is when you take a small clip of someone else's video and then follow it up with your response. So this is a way to engage with another creator's content. It tags them. It it alerts other people who may be interested in your reaction to that creator's content. And you can choose a clip that is at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, anywhere. So that's pretty useful. And then duet is when you're side by side for the whole video. So you can, for example, respond to a quiz, like put a finger down challenges. And so that's also useful. I think that's less used now. I think stitchers are more like off the cuff and of the moment. But yeah, those are great for engagement, interacting, promoting, getting to know people who do similar content. My list of things to work on is text to speech. So I made it happen once. And since then, I've even updated TikTok, which I hate to do, but it won't let me choose a text to speech. So this is where you hear people getting like not just like echo voices or sped up or slowed down voices, but AI generated different descriptors of voices, like a spooky voice or a British accent or I don't know, a woman with a very high voice. I don't know. They have just random names. They don't really describe them. You just have to listen to them. But lately, and even after I updated, I haven't been able to hear them. So I still have to figure out how to get that to work again. Voice filters. And basically, that either takes text you put on the video and makes it into speech, like AI speech, or takes your voice and makes it into that filtered voice, which would be fun. Then we've got YouTube descriptions and captions with a related video feature. This has the potential to be really useful, but I haven't done it systematically. So I do have end screens on my shorts mostly, but some have slipped through the net. So I need to catch up on that and then check the analytics to see if it's helping. TikTok tagging etiquette, I'm not sure. And then Reels extras. So I'm not sure what I meant by that, but I've got plenty to work on with Reels. They're not really my bag. um, so yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of other optimization stuff that will have to be like in another episode of Beginner's Guide. But yeah, that's sort of my fiddly bit plate of hors d'oeuvres. Let's see. Let me catch up on the chat here. JC says, I watch certain people's, yours, Shannon's, Dez's, Nia's, a couple of others, but no, I prefer long form content, so I don't purposely go looking for shorts. Yeah. Mm. What's interesting is I did, and talking about data points for your audience, I did a poll on my page, and let's see. I just did this yesterday. Which do you watch the most of, shorts, reels, or TikToks? I finally have a vote for TikToks. 45 votes, and it's like half and half between YouTube and Instagram now. Interesting. I didn't think of this for Instagram fast enough, but let's see if there's any votes on Instagram. I only put it up like an hour ago. One vote, Instagram. Okay, well, I'll have to let that stay up for a little bit more. But I didn't think that it would be such a YouTube focused audience. I mean, it makes sense, but you can argue for any data point, which is why I hate data analytics. The poll on YouTube, it was mostly people commenting to say, I'm not on TikTok. I don't like Instagram anymore. So I see shorts every once in a while because YouTube serves them up. And I was like, huh, interesting. Everybody responding to the YouTube poll is only on YouTube and doesn't like the shorts. And yet that's what YouTube is pushing. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Shannon says, thanks for watching. JC says, they're quite entertaining. Anita says, my Canva made art shorts are some of my best for performers. I guess how you make it works better depending on content. How you make it works better depending on content. Yeah, I could try to match. You're right. I didn't change only one variable, which means I didn't do a very controlled experiment. So what I should be doing is going back into Canva and making videos that are more like my vlogs to be able to compare to see if doing them in app makes any difference. Although having the visuals done in iMovie is sort of the same as having them done in Canva because I'm importing a video. I don't know. There are a lot of permutations, and that's part of why it's so confusing and frustrating for authors and content creators to try to like break in a little bit and get a minimum routine established that they feel is working for them. Hence why I was trying to have a little bit of a discussion here today. Yeah, it's just figuring out that right content. Rachel staring at my reels, trying to figure out how to get another 79,000 views, but on my books. Chickens, sure, chickens, right? One of my friends, Blurb Your Enthusiasm, Mary has regular chicken content, so that might help. So Felicia asks, would it be better to tag people that you already know or random authors? I didn't tag anyone I didn't know. So I was tagging people who I know from YouTube or a mastermind group or like a joint publication like Stygian, so that like they would be confident if they tagged me, I would also respond and like and leave a comment so that we're boosting each other's material. I would definitely not do a random person. Rachel says, universe, do I need a lucid dream or something? Is there some weird old guy with a beard and peculiar style that will mentor me? And Anita's 2 cents, there are a lot of spammers on Instagram. Yes, so random tagging might be problematic. Yeah, which is why I wouldn't even do it with people I know regularly, because it's just too many notifications and I don't want to add to people's plates on Instagram. Eva says, hi. Eva likes reels and shorts. Recording vertically feels easier in the moment, but I do tend to film both ways for family memories since TVs will stay horizontal, right? Why are they horizontal? I don't know. Maybe we will all turn into those people who have TVs on their mirrors, like those exercise videos, and we'll see ourselves like in among the broadcast material. Oh my God, I just forecasted our doom, didn't I? Eva says, I intentionally scroll reels and shorts, not on TikTok. Nice. We get some hellos. Anita says, Canva might work better for visually based stuff. Your book quotes might have been better as audio. So there we go. So maybe what my next experiment will be is taking those Canva visuals and seeing if they will work as speech to text on TikTok. It's mixing in another type of card into the deck. You never know. It might grow the audience. Eva says you can all tag Bookend Lane and writing indie related content on Instagram. I love being tagged so that I know what to post that day. There you go. Okay, permission. Everybody's permission is granted. I love it. Love it. Okay, so we're done with the Fiddly Bits. We've sort of been doing Q&A, and I have run over the hour that I allotted for this. So this is a bit of a switch up in content, since normally I do like reading books and book reviews and a little bit of like my author background. This is more of a meta discussion about the business end. So Leslie, I hope it wasn't too abstruse. But yeah, I just thought when we were talking about author stuff on some of the streams, so many people were hesitant and annoyed with like, this is what YouTube is promoting, but I don't know how to do this and I don't want to learn another freaking thing. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. Those are my experiments that hopefully you can learn from. I will be going back into this live stream to put some timestamps on the sequencing, because I think that is what I really was interested in when I started out, and I didn't find any advice on that online, which is blowing my mind. So that's why I thought this could be useful. And I hope it was useful for you today. So thanks everybody for coming by to watch this beginner's guide to not failing, or failing and learning from posting vertical format videos. Yes, glad everyone could stop by. Lovely to see you. Happy Thanksgiving glow of a weekend. I hope you had a lovely time. And I will see you again soon for more wrap up nano content. All right. Take care, authors. See you later.